Welcome to the Law of One. Dun dun dun. Study channel. I am Robert, your humble host and narrator. It's my pleasure and privilege to bring you conscious channeling of LL research. Let us talk about fourth density transition and how it's affecting our Mother Earth, and a couple other things you may find interesting, so stick around. I am QO and am aware of your query, my sister. The entity which you call Earth or Gaia is one which is in the process of its own evolution, as is each entity upon it. The Earth entity at this time, realizing that it is preparing to move into a more intense portion of the birthing of a new Earth, is, as we have mentioned previously, particularly vulnerable, as is any woman who is about to give birth to new life. The experience of many thousands of your years of difficulties between the populations of this planet has caused the entity of Earth to be, shall we say, inflicted with a great deal of anger and hostility. The vibrations of the bellicose actions of your people over a great portion of your time. This heat of anger has caused the entity of Earth to release the excess heat in various places in various amounts. Those geophysical eruptions of your volcanoes and earthquakes and so forth have been able to release some of this buildup of heat, so that the mantle of the earth in some places is rearranged in a fashion which causes a great deal of physical destruction. Yet the alignment possible after such rearrangements is that which welcomes the newer vibrations of love and compassion, which are now moving more fully into expression within some portions of not only the Earth entity, but large portions of the Earth's populations. Thus, the entity of Earth has begun to vibrate more fully in harmony with both the newer vibrations of love and compassion and those of the population of this planet, which have also sought to harmonize with these vibrations as well. Thus, there is, within the Earth entity, a feeling of excitement at this opportunity and of distress at the difficulty of the birth, of compassion for those who suffer, and a kind of maternal disapproval of those who yet linger in the ways of war. Is there a further question, my sister? Could you say something further about the remnant that will remain here for fourth density work? I am QO and am aware of your query, my sister. The so-called remnant, that portion of this planetary population which shall remain with this planet, is labeled as such by many, for there is in all likelihood a far greater portion of the population which shall need to find further experience within the third density in order to balance the difficult vibrations which have not allowed those entities the graduation into the density of compassion. Thus, those who do remain and who seek in the positive sense are from various locations, shall we say, not just from this third density planet which you call Earth, for the population from this planet that will be able to welcome and enjoy the vibrations of love and compassion is small in comparison to what this planet could comfortably welcome and stably house. There are many entities coming from other third density planets who have made the graduation at this time, who are incarnating early within the fourth density experience of this planet in order to help it in its birth process. This is considered a great honor, for there is much catalyst at this time which these entities seek to utilize in a positive or magical sense. That is, the transmutation of the vibrations of separation into that which enhances the unity between all the peoples and the creation itself. This population of the new earth is that which is like unto the vanguard that moves first into the difficult areas of conflict and seeks to combat the difficulties with the vibrations of love. There is no direct conflict, as you are undoubtedly aware, for those who move under the banner of love are those which welcome the opportunity to transmute the dark and heavy vibrations into those which are light and full of love by the effort that they make in these later days of your third density. I am QO, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? Yes, how will we physically clean up the earth? Will there be magical means? Will we be able to clean it up? I am QO, and am aware of your query, my sister. One of the primary qualities of the fourth density experience is that which may be seen to be the ability to utilize the frontal lobes of the human brain in a manner which is able to participate as a co-creator. The ability to create with the mind those tools and resources necessary for the revitalization of this planetary entity which you call Earth is the primary means whereby the healing of this planet may be achieved. Is there a further query, my sister? I am concerned about the loss of species of animals. I wonder if they can be restored. I am QO and am aware of your query, my sister, and we can assure you that through both the processes which we have just mentioned and the natural regeneration of the earth itself will make it possible for this planet to become inhabited by those species which have previously been present upon and within its being. This is correct. Is there a further query? I would like to ask about working with frustration. I seem to have a great deal of it these days. A lot of people are dealing with it now and struggling against daily things as well as larger things. Do you have any recommendation other than meditation? I am QO and am aware of your query, my sister. We would suggest the further use of meditation in a specific fashion in order to deal with the increased stress and frustration which the daily round of activities for each of your peoples has brought in this time of turmoil for most of your population. When the end of the day has come, or at some portion just prior to retiring for the day, we would recommend the sitting in meditation and the reviewing of the portions of the day which were perceived as frustrating. Look again at each situation, relive the experience of frustration, and observe the components of this experience. Each entity, each event, thought, response, each detail, which you can remember, so that the experience is once again alive in the mind. Then, when this frustration is felt in this particular type of meditation, Allow the balancing emotions of peace, of understanding, of acceptance, of tolerance, of humor to begin to surface as well within the mind until there is an equality of power between the frustration and the peace. This is a kind of short course, shall we say, in experiencing the incarnation. If one is able to accept the self, both for having the frustration as an experience and for being able to find within the self the ability to balance that with the feelings of acceptance, compassion, mercy, and so forth, then you are able to move in a more balanced fashion within your daily round of activities, having laid the foundation within both the subconscious and conscious portions of the mind for being able to deal with various other frustrating experiences in succeeding days and rounds of activities. I am QO, and we thank you once again, my sister. Is there a final query at this time? I would like to know if it is possible for us to straighten out the situation on this planet without straightening out the situation between the sexes. I am QO and am aware of your query, my brother. The situation, as you have described it, is one which has many, many facets, being rooted first in the concept of separation. What is the first separation? Self from self. As each individual entity views portions of itself as needing punishment, as being less than valuable, as being unworthy, then is born the concept of the separation of self from others as well, so that which you have described as the difficulty between male and female sexes upon your planet, and the subjugation of the later by the former, then this kind of separation is also possible between groups of peoples, one state and another, one country and another, one religion and another, and so forth. Thus, it would be helpful to begin the healing not only between the female and male portions of the populations, but between those portions of the self which have been rejected for one reason or another and have made the possibility of rejecting other entities a reality. The healing of this planet and its peoples is a healing which begins with each self and moves outward to include all other selves. Is there a further query, my brother? Then, if I have you right, then it basically starts with the self. Straightening out my relationship with myself is where I need to begin, rather than worrying about gender relations. Is that correct? I am QO and am aware of your query, my brother. We would recommend that indeed the effort at healing begins with the self, but at the same time includes all other relationships of self with other self. The male and female relationship being primary among all relationships, thus the healing process may be far-reaching in its overall scope, but indeed begins with the self. I am QO, and we thank you once again, my brother. At this time, we feel that we have spoken as fully as this particular instrument is able to. For there is some distraction and fatigue. We thank each once again for inviting our presence this day. It is a great honor to be invited to join your circle of seeking, and we can assure each that the Confederation of Planets in the service of the One Infinite Creator has many emissaries present at this time observing the movement of your peoples from one concept of love and acceptance to another. As this concept begins to spread from one grouping of people to another, we see a great deal of light being generated, so that your planet at this time is a combination of the light and the dark in many different patchwork places, so that the light very slowly but surely begins to burn brighter in those areas where there are hearts to open to the concept of love more and more fully as the catalyst becomes greater and greater. You are not alone, my friends. There is a great company of the heavenly host which moves at this time to send its light where it is most needed according to the difficulties that various portions of your planet now experience. As your meditation groups meet and send their light, it is joined by the light of many others, and moves into those areas at this time that are in difficulty. We are those of QO, and we add our light to yours. And at this time, we will take our leave of this instrument and this group. We leave each, as always, in the love and in the light of the one Creator. Adone, my friends, Adone.